Hello, Richard.
David Tyree. What's up, man? What's up, Kareem?
What's up, everybody?
I can hear Kareem. I heard Chris clapping. I think I saw Richie, unless that was Jabba the Hutt. We're off and running.
Welcome to Like We Never Left, the show that brings your favorite New York athletes and teams back together again. I'm Ralph Bacchiano, and we've got a treat for you here. One of my favorite groups of athletes from one of the best teams I've ever covered, the 2007 Super Bowl champion Giants offensive line. From left to right, at least on the field, David Diehl, Rich Seubert, Shaun O'Hara, Chris Snee, Kareem McKenzie. How often do you get together, or have you been together since the end of your careers?
It's been way too long since we all clanked a glass together, broke bread. Snee hasn't eaten bread in 5 years, but Richie's made up for all of that throughout the time. So I think we've been talking about finding a way to get together, but I don't know. I think the last time we were all together might have been Eli's retirement ceremony.
It's great recall, Sean, because I was not at Eli's ceremony, but thanks for
clearly you were missed.
Well, obviously, it was the right side that was missing because I wasn't there either. It's been a very long time since we've actually had an opportunity to go ahead and get together. Far too long.
Whenever I talk about 2007, I always start a couple of years earlier. Somebody calling you guys the worst offensive line in the league. And I know a couple of you weren't there. How much did that bother you back? That was the story of 2004 when Joe Theismann looked at you guys and said, awful, nobody's worse.
Yeah, that definitely pissed all of us off. I mean, that was our first time really coming together. But when something like that happens and something said like that, you can do two things. You can either try to respond verbally, or you can do it by your actions and coming together as a group.
I think we all enjoyed each other. I can say I love these guys, right? I liked going to breakfast with these guys, lifting weights, watching film, getting early, leaving late, and things like what Joe Theismann said. I know for me personally, I put up with my whole career, right? Guys like you, people in the media, trying to replace me year in and year out. Whatever pissed you off made you stronger. I never liked Joe Theismann, so it is what it is.
Just for the record, I never wanted to replace you because I enjoyed watching you fight with people in training camp.
Yes, as we all did.
Hey, what was your record, Richie, in those battles? I think Kiwi had you 3-0. What was your record? Oh, come on.
Kiwi got me 1 year. I ended up on my back because nobody else.
That was why we all took a break. Damn it! When you fought, we had a break, so that's what we did.
Well, that's why Richie fought, because he knew the coach was going to pull him out, and he didn't have to run the next 4 plays.
The best fighting practice was the first practice in the new stadium. Coach Coughlin goes, "Man, there's no fighting, no matter what. We can't fight. There's going to be fans in there. None of that bullshit." I don't know, the third or fourth play of team period, Snee shoves JPP in my back. A fight breaks out. Snee starts the fight. I get dog cussed by Coughlin, right? And we're eating lunch, and Coughlin comes down and goes, "Rich, I apologize. Chris is the one that started it." I'm like, "Thank you, coach."
Going into that season, there was so much going on. Tom Coughlin was on the hot seat. Tiki Barber had just retired and took some shots at your quarterback during training camp, if I recall. Michael Strahan was holding out and contemplating retirement. Did any of that outside stuff even register with you?
Not really, because one of the main things in particular is that we knew specifically what was going on in the locker room. We were the ones that were there day in and day out and able to see the work that we were putting in.
And obviously, you don't want to ever have one of your old teammates talk about your current teammate and the quarterback who he played with. But I love the way that Eli handled himself. I think that's the first time where he really stepped up and made a statement that some people thought was controversial, but it was him backing himself and how hard he worked.
One of the big storylines of that season, of course, was Tom Coughlin supposedly changed. They wanted him to soften, be nicer to you guys, be nicer to the press. Chris, you probably know him better than anybody. That season, did you think he changed dramatically, and did that help at all with you guys?
Dramatically, no. He's not going to get away from what made him so successful. But did he lighten up a little bit? Sure. He allowed the guys to see a side of him that I had already seen.
When Chris brought his kids to training camp to practice, Coach, it's funny, he didn't swear as much, he didn't yell as much. We never had conditioning afterwards because the grandkids were there, and boy, it was Grandpa Tom And seeing that, we say, Chris, can they come every day? Because when they showed up, it seemed like a totally different environment. And I think like Chris said, for all of us to see him in that light and in that manner, really kind of humanized him. And I think it brought us all closer.
There was actually the famous back page. There's a picture of Eli looking down, and it said Eli the Terrible was the headline. That actually was late November after the Vikings game. If you remember, he threw 4 interceptions. Sure, you remember.
We don't want to remember that game. We don't.
Right,
That's
yeah.
one
Right,
we
no.
want to remember.
Yeah, man.
Well,
Hey, Ralph, if we would have ran the football, he would have never thrown all those picks.
there were fans burning his jersey in the parking lot. Your general manager called him skittish. Did you believe in him? Did you feel like we got the right guy? He's going to come out of this soon?
My trust, my confidence never wavered with Eli, ever. So again, you talk about, when Reese says he's skittish, I think you saw a collection of guys rally around Eli.
Eli was always my guy too, right? He was my quarterback. I would fight for him. I would go through a brick wall for him.
Would you marry him?
I probably would. Look at all the money he's got, right?
Would you wear a shirt that said "Marry me, Manning"?
I did wear one of those, Sean. You have the picture. I know.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There's proof.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
boy, there it is.
If I'm not mistaken, that was on the bus. That was Super Bowl week, right?
A media day. A girl was wearing it, and I begged her for it, so she gave it to me.
Nice.
Yeah.
But no,
she claimed there's no way it was going to fit.
Since we're talking about Eli, I know you're not all on Twitter. I'm curious if you follow Eli on Twitter at all. I don't know if you like his Twitter game. There's a picture there, I guess the mask that Shaun, you sent him.
Yeah, I thought that was appropriate for his 40th birthday present, given the conditions. Listen, I will say this: I was shocked when I heard that he was actually going to join Twitter, because I didn't think that was something that he was going to indulge in. But I think it's been great. But I will say it also shows you how technologically stunted he is, because here he is posting things and he doesn't even know how to tag people or at people. I mean, all you have to do is put the at symbol in front of their name and their Twitter handle will show up. So if he knew a damn thing about social media or technology or anything, advanced like that, he would understand how to tag Richie and Diehl and Chris and Kareem and all that stuff. But he doesn't. So he probably has a handler that's doing all those tweets for him.
This one's my favorite, though. It's a video of him. I didn't know he was athletic enough to do a handstand, although I'll note that his daughter does kind of have to hold him up here.
Yeah, I don't call that athleticism. I just call that balance. I don't think any of us were going to sit here and give Eli credit for athleticism.
I think when you have a forehead that big, it's pretty easy to do a headstand.
Yeah. Ouch. The last game of the season, playing the undefeated Patriots, nobody's giving you a chance. Your position in the playoffs is secured. What was your reaction when you guys heard you were playing to win that game? You guys were going after them to try to stop history.
I just overall didn't like New England from the outset. I mean, I never did like New England, being a former New York Jet. So, there was always a palatable sense of, let's just go ahead and beat these jerks, and I'll keep it PG here. But just a sense of arrogance that they had coming into our stadium, and the way in which they carried themselves. There was a sense of, they were unstoppable, and we knew, giving them a run for their money at that point in time, that we would see them again. That was our hope.
The best part about that game was the opening drive. We marched right down the field. We punched them right in the mouth, and Brandon Jacobs ran over Teddy Bruschi on his way into the end zone. And I remember talking to Rodney Harrison, like, yeah, you know what, we're not scared of you guys. We're coming after you. And Richie was fighting him. Toomer was fighting Rodney. I think we kind of flexed on him a little bit.
We have a little bit of a party crasher here. I know this is an offensive line show.
Honor!
Oh, wow.
6-7
KB!
count.
What's up, guys?
What's up, boss man?
How are
How's
you, Kevin?
everybody? Letting me crash the party. Wolfpack, Dave.
Wolfpack.
I'll let you take the stage for a second and just tell me what your memories are of these guys.
When I think back to, the things I miss most about my playing days, without hesitation, it's always, what do I miss the most about it, or who do I miss the most about it? And it's always these guys right here. So, when Shaun texted me this morning and asked me if I could hop on, I jumped at the opportunity just to see everyone's face and hang out for a few minutes.
I want to actually go quickly to the Dallas game. They didn't take you guys seriously at all. Tony Romo was out in Cabo for a week before the game. You know the story of Jerry Jones leaving the NFC Championship game tickets on the stools of everybody.
We knew Dallas, they knew us. If they didn't respect us, obviously they're regretting it now, right?
To hear that they had the audacity to, kind of write us off, it was kind of like, okay, all right, and I'll keep it PG again. But let's go. If this is what they're going to do, we'll show them differently. And definitely to go in there and to have it pan out the way it did, it seemed like the stars just aligned for us.
When you win that game and you go on to Green Bay, you knew what the temperature was going to be. How confident was this team going up there?
We practiced outdoors. I remember being in the stadium, it being windy, getting ready for the environment. And Coach Coughlin always said that it doesn't matter where the game's held. It's all about the team that's mentally tough and prepared. I think the opening play of that game where Brandon Jacobs absolutely demolishes Charles Woodson was a send-off, saying, like, this is going to be a physical game, and this is exactly what we got into. Knocked his G decal off of his helmet.
So we won that game in the locker room when, I forgot who it was, but who was rubbing the cream on Kareem?
The second skin.
Like whatever cream Ronnie gave us to stay warm. Who was rubbing it on Kareem?
It's weird how the cream just disappeared when they were trying to rub it on Kareem. I don't know where it went. I think he had to use a whole bottle on him.
He got absorbed by his sweater.
Funny. Yeah, my sweater I was wearing. Yes, the sweater. But and that wasn't the only thing. In that instance, just a sense of you guys are a bunch of assholes. You know what?
What was that stuff?
It was second skin. It was second skin. It was like this.
It warmed you, and it was like Vaseline too, so it clogged the pores, and I mean it worked.
It looked like mayonnaise.
Kareem used it all, and Coach Coughlin couldn't get any for his face. Here it is. The truth comes out.
That's my fault. That was my fault.
Did it work? Did it keep you warm?
No. It basically what it was. Now it looked like a thick ass mayonnaise, right? So you're trying to rub this stuff on. You're trying to go ahead. You're wearing 2 pairs of gloves. You got on these tights. All this other shit you're trying to do. It's still 24 below zero. Okay. There's no way to get around. It's cold outside. All right. Nothing's going to do it. So literally, we're out there. I'm not pass blocking. I'm just punching people.
But none of you wore sleeves, right? I don't remember.
We did not.
No.
Did not.
You guys are Kevin did.
Oh, well, Kevin wore sleeves.
What I remember so much about that Super Bowl, but that week leading up to it, the two things that always stick out were how smug the Patriots seemed, and then going to the media sessions with you guys, and you guys were oddly confident.
We thought we had the best offensive line of football, and going against our defensive line only made us better. So therefore, we thought we won the battle up front, hands down. And when you're talking about the arrogance of the Patriots, yeah, I mean, even in the middle of the game, towards the end of the game, we were invited to their post-game party, by Richard Seubert towards the end of the game. So it was very nice of them to offer. But so yeah, I think they didn't view us as a real threat. Yet we had a collection of guys that all really thought we were going to win the game.
We felt like we were the more physical team. We were not scared of their defense. We knew we could pound their defense. We weren't worried about anything that they were going to throw at us. And I thought our defense, they took over the game. And up front, they whipped the snot out of that Patriots offensive line. I think when we saw how good they were playing, and then when we saw 6'7" Kevin bust off a 90-yard run and outrun almost everybody, we said, hey man, if Boss Man is making big plays, we got to step up. We got to finish this thing.
I like how that 45-yard play doubled the 90.
Yes, it sounds better. Leave it.
Was that Will Fork that tracked you down? Who was that?
You could hear the crowd cheering, and you could see the replays, and Tom was taking a beating, and we knew if we just had that the opportunity to go back out there, we had to get the job done. And offensively, it wasn't pretty, but we found a way to do it.
You guys go out there and you start that drive, and there's a 4th down conversion. Things are kind of crazy. Obviously, the big play there is the David Tyree catch. And what's your memory of that sequence? I don't know how often you've watched it, how much you've replayed it in your mind, but what do you remember about that sequence most?
Eli still has the ball. It's like, well, wait a minute, what ball's supposed to be gone by now? And looking around like, okay, who can I block, hold, whatever, and just push somebody somewhere, somehow, right? And, Eli kind of, shaking loose and throwing the ball down the field, and seeing David jump up, against Rodney Harrison and to catch it. And it's like, did he catch it? Well, who the hell cares? Just run up, and run the next play so that they can't challenge it, right?
Ask Snee what he was doing on that play.
Well, I'm going to go second.
I was going to ask him about that.
First, you knock out the two guys that got pluses on their grade sheets first, and then you can go to the other three who got negatives for getting beat so quickly.
There was no holding on that play, right?
Who the hell?
No.
He had a great view.
All right. So I did my job on the play. Okay. It just happens my teammates got beat so quickly I was unable to help them in any way. So it does suck though that the best play in Super Bowl history, I look like a complete jackass. And every time it's on a highlight or whatever, my kids still, they like to bust chops like I do, and they always ask me what I'm doing. So it sucks, to be honest with you. It does. It sucks. You have this great play, but I did grade out very well on that play. So that's the most of it.
I know there was more to come in the game, but when Plaxico catches that touchdown pass, I assume right then you guys got to know you're Super Bowl champs.
I ran to the end zone to celebrate with Plexico because I knew you'd get on TV if you ran down to celebrate with the guy that caught the touchdown pass. I think Dave and I ran down there, gave him a big hug, but the way I think is I still looked at the clock and I'm like, Tom Brady and the Patriots still have, 30 seconds, a couple timeouts, and all they need is a field goal to tie us. So for me, it wasn't over until it was over, but a special moment. The celebration was awesome. I wish we didn't party so hard the next 2 weeks afterwards. I would remember more about the whole thing.
When you think about 2007, the one thing you remember, the one thing you miss the most, just whatever usually flashes into your mind.
The thing I remember the most, cherish the most, and continue to treasure for the rest of my life is just the friendships. I think for these guys to kind of bring me under their wing as a rookie, says a lot about them.
It wasn't about anybody from the outside. It was all about the people in that room and believing and fighting for one another and laying it all on the line.
It's the winner with these guys. All those early mornings, eating those breakfast sandwiches and watching film and doing the O-line test and not letting the guy down next to you. I wouldn't want to win a Super Bowl with anybody else but, these five other guys in this room with me.
All those different things that we did, the fun that we had, the jokes, all those different things are unforgettable.
Video games in training camp to, guzzling track and getting a pump in and drinking chocolate milk on Fridays, or, the McDonald's Thursdays, or, Pizza Fridays. See, there's a lot of food involved here, but we spend so much time together.
What does it mean to be brothers? It's that, the shenanigans are always there. And I think, back when you're playing, it's something as simple as a phone trick. On Saturdays, it was, all right, who stole Richie's tie? Is Snee gonna have to borrow Kareem's pants?
I knew it. I knew it. I knew that was coming.
You miss all the shenanigans.
There was no waist size. It just said big. Big. It's like there was no waist size.
The tag fell off, okay? Tag fell off. What can I say?
You miss the bus rides, after a big win, coming in and grabbing a cold beer and, talking about what happened or who got beat or did something funny happen, and, whose cleats did Snee puke on in pregame, in this one, and, just all fun stuff that you could just kind of reminisce about.
You picked up just like I remember you guys being back in 2007. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for making us feel like we never left. And thanks for the memories, guys. Really appreciate it.